So the first card you have for your past is the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, these are cycles I'm seeing with this wheel turning around. Cycles. I think you might have learned. From a lot of mistakes that you made in your past at one time in your life. This is a really positive thing. I mean, I'm not seeing this. I'm not talking about this to make you think about mistakes you made or your past or going backwards or making you feel bad or anything like that. What I'm seeing is that you've really grown from this. You've really moved upwards from this time, out of this time in your past when you were in a cycle of just making the same mistakes over and over again and repeating these mistakes. This might have even been an addiction or something like that. It doesn't have to have been a drug addiction. It might be, but it doesn't have to be. It might have been an addiction to a person, if that makes sense. Because I'm seeing there's a cycle of someone treating you quite badly, and you kept on coming back and coming back. So you'd come back, they'd treat you badly, they'd apologise, and over and over again, you forgave them, you'd come back again, and they'd repeat it over and over and over again. And it was as if you were kind of addicted to the ups and downs, because maybe you had terrible downs, but maybe when you got back together, the highs were amazing, and then you'd go down again, and the lows were terrible. But then at the lows, you were addicted to the highs, so you kept on wanting that feeling of getting back to them again. It was like, oh, they're back again, I'm so happy. And then you'd crash again. That's the kind of thing I'm seeing when I'm looking at this wheel turning around, this high and then this crash. It's almost like a Ferris wheel. When you go up on a Ferris wheel, you go up to the very top, and then when you start to come down again, you have this really weird feeling. It's like, oh no, in your stomach, and then you go up again, you're up high again. That's what I'm seeing happening, and that's the addictive kind of thing. And it's a similar kind of addiction to a drug addiction, obviously, having lows and highs, and just seeking that high again, seeking that feeling again. But you did get out of this horrible cycle, and really you need to be congratulated for doing that, because not a lot of people can do that. They're completely addicted. They keep on going back and back and back again. So you really learned from this. And I think after you learned from this, you really had to be very vigilant about who you'd have around you, what kind of person, what kind of behavior you'd have around you. You just didn't want to get involved. You didn't want to become involved in anyone who was like that or anywhere near that ever again. And that's how all kinds of addicts or recovering addicts have to be in any kind of addiction. Doesn't matter what it is. It might be shopping, it might be a person, it might be anything. They have to make sure that they're very vigilant. It's not like they kind of give up whatever it is and then they can relax. No, for the rest of their lives, they're vigilant all the time. They have to be like, I can't get myself into that situation where I'm around people who do the same thing, to do that thing. I can't be around anything that's going to trigger me. And a lot of the time, addiction is based on a feeling of some kind of depression, mental illness, something where you feel very bad about, might not be mental illness, but something where people feel very bad about themselves, or they're very sad, or something negative. And they're seeking something that's going to make them feel better. So they go after a drug or they go after something. And I don't mean to analyze you. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I think with you, yeah, you did feel quite bad about yourself. And that's why you got into that situation. And then you had this, when you first met them, there was this amazing high. And you're like, I feel fantastic. I've never felt like this. This is wonderful. And then they drop you down again and you're like, oh no, I want that feeling again. I can't be like this. This is how I was. That's what I'm seeing. So I won't say any more about that because I'm saying too much about this card. I'll go into the next one. I'll be here forever. The next card you have for your past is the Two of Pentacles. So yes, again, I don't mean to keep on seeing this old situation again and again, but it keeps on coming up. Sometimes old situations come up in readings to remind you of a lesson that you learned in your past, and you might need to apply what you learned to something that's happening to you now. So this might not be the case with you, or it might be, but keep that in mind. Have a think about what might be going on in your life that you need to remember that lesson and to kind of apply that to something now. That's what I'm seeing. And again, in this card, obviously, these are about cycles as well, with these two pentacles going around in a circle, a cycle, and, feeling out of control. And that's how this man feels in this card. He's afraid that he's going to be out of balance and he's going to drop these coins everywhere. So, yes, you're really out of balance when you're with this person. It was up, down, but you really learnt from this. You really learnt from this time. And maybe you're in a situation now where you might be letting your guard down a little bit with the wrong person, maybe. I don't mean that you should go around with your guard up constantly, never ever letting anyone in. I don't mean that. That's an extreme. But maybe you were a little bit relaxed with someone who might not really deserve that relaxation from you, if that makes sense. I don't think this is around a love situation, this caution I'm seeing. This might be a friend. This might be a friend that might be trying to take advantage of you in some way. They might be trying to make you do something that you might not feel comfortable around. So just have a think about, I don't know if this resonates or not, but just have a think about if someone makes you feel uncomfortable in any way, if they ask you to do something that's kind of over a borderline, if that makes sense. If anyone makes you feel uneasy, that horrible feeling you have in your stomach that, oh, this isn't quite right. No, say no to them, distance yourself from them. That's your warning sign. They're your instincts telling you, don't get involved. That's what that is. So just be aware of that and just look out for that. And if you know who this is, obviously distance yourself from them. The last card you have, your past, is the 8 of Swords. Yeah, this is very sad. I don't think this is about you, actually. I think this is about someone who might be interested in you now. And I think you might know who this is. This is someone who'd like to come close to you, or they did at this time. This is in your past. It's probably still happening now. But, they've been really stuck. They've been stuck for a while, actually. They feel that they can't come close to you. I think this person was in your last reading, and I think this situation was in your last reading. So this is probably still hasn't been resolved. This is probably still happening. Yeah, they feel that they can't come close to you for some reason. And I think they might be trapped in some kind of a situation. It might be a family situation. I'm actually seeing people might be standing around this person. They might be talking to them in a very kind of forceful way, in a very harsh way, because swords are often harsh words. That's how I see them quite often. And yeah, I think I'm actually seeing people might be standing around this person, a bit like these swords are around this woman. It reminds me of bullying, actually. It's like, when a poor child's being bullied in the playground, it's really horrible. And sometimes other children will get around them in a circle and they'll say things and poke at them. And it's really nasty, really horrible. And that's what I'm seeing might be happening to this poor person who can't get close to you. And they can't get close to you because they're in the middle of this really horrible situation that's really dragging them down. And this is around some family members. I'm seeing that. Now, I don't think you're talking to this person. I think you might be waiting, or you might have been, you probably still are waiting for this person to talk to you. I don't want to tell you what to do, but I think this person really needs a friend. They need someone right now. If you feel that again, you need to have your kind of barriers up against what you feel is right and what you feel is wrong. So if this is something that you don't feel good about doing, reaching out to this person, then obviously don't do it. I mean, you have to protect yourself as well, but they do need someone. And I think, if you feel that you can reach out to this person, I think, and you know who this is, obviously if this is resonating with you, please try to reach out to this person. They really need someone. That's what I'm seeing. They need a different perspective. They need a different point of view, because all they have around them at the moment is this one perspective, and some people are trying to really force them into something. That's what I'm seeing. So the first card you have for your present is the Queen of Pentacles. So yeah, you are a caring person. And yeah, this is why I was seeing you should reach out to this person in the Eight of Swords. They don't have many caring people around them. I don't think they have anyone around them really. And obviously they're lost, they're trapped, they're going through some terrible things. And I think they just need someone to show them how to get out of this. Someone to show them how to help them to see that they can get out of this. Because this woman in this Eight of Swords, she's blindfolded. She can't see how she can get out of this. But I think, this reaching out and this caring that I was seeing, that I was kind of advising you to do, and I still am, I think you should do that. But obviously this is up to you. Again, if you feel this isn't the best thing for you to do, for whatever reason, you don't have to do this, of course. But as I was seeing in the Wheel of Fortune, you've learned how to draw a line between what you're comfortable with and what you're not. It might be that if you don't feel comfortable with this, it might be that you reach out to someone who does know them, that can help them. You might know a relative of theirs. You might know a friend of theirs. You might know someone who's kind of a mutual friend. Talk to them if you feel that you're not comfortable reaching out to them for whatever reason. Talk to somebody else who's around them and ask them if they can reach out to this person. Try and, if you can, get them some help in some way if this resonates with you. The next card you have for your present is the Seven of Cups. So again, sorry, I keep on seeing this person, I can't help it. Because this person needs help, that's why I'm getting this message all the time. This is trying to show me that someone needs to help this person, someone's in need of help. If you can't help them, please try and get someone else to help them. That's what I keep on seeing. They're lost, they're in the dark, like this poor man who's in the shadows. Again, I'm seeing family. Someone in their family might actually be giving them some kind of an ultimatum, trying to force them to do something. Sorry about that motorbike going past. Yeah, they might have been or they might be still holding something over this person. And again, I don't mean this to be negative. This is a very negative reading. It's horrible. I don't mean it to be. They're going to have to make some kind of choice, but it's very, very difficult, and they're very stuck. They can't quite make this choice. And yes, people around them are trying to tell them which choice to make. They're trying to put pressure on this person. Yeah, and they don't see how they can walk away from this. They need someone, again, they need someone to step in. They need someone to help them. So yeah, again, do this if you can. If you can't, try and ask someone else to help them. They need some help. I really hope this person gets some help. And I'm sorry to repeat myself. I'm really, really sorry. I just keep on seeing the same thing, and I think I'm seeing it for a reason. The last card you have for your present is the Five of Swords. Again, same again. Yeah, they'd like to come close to you. They really would. But any thoughts of you have probably been put to one side while they're in the middle of this really, really terrible battle that they're going through. I think they just need to walk away, and I think obviously I can see that. Anyone who could look in on this situation could see that. But when you're in the middle of this situation, it's hard for you to see that, and I think that's what's happening. It's hard for them to see that. And I think they have family members telling them one thing, trying to influence them to do something. They're treating them in a really terrible way. And I think, with this ultimatum, I think if they take up whatever this is, there's some kind of bait. There's like an ultimatum, or there's some kind of, it might be a family business. It might be something like a inheritance that they're promising them, something like that. They're trying to say, oh, do this, and you'll get this. And if you don't, then we'll shun you. It might be something like that. And so that's why this is a very difficult decision for them to make. But nothing's worth this sort of treatment. You know that. I know that. They can't see that. And I think even if they did take up this thing, even if they said, yes, I agree, or do whatever you want, that is not going to stop this horrible treatment, because these kinds of people are never going to stop this kind of treatment. I think they need to walk away. Nothing's worth this. Nothing is worth it. Even if someone offers them a mansion, a house, a job, something amazing, it's not worth it. Your freedom is not worth being tied to people like this. Not you, this person. This is what they need someone to tell them. This is why they need another person influencing them and telling them this. They need to see another point of view coming in. So I'll stop with that. I've said everything I can about that. And I can't help it. I just keep on seeing these messages coming in about this. So the first card you have for your future is the Knight of Cups. Yeah, again, I'm seeing this. I'm sorry, I know this is about this person. They're going through so much. They're still going to be waiting for you, and they're going to be waiting until this is all over to come forward to you. I think they are going to come back and come close to you again. They want to do this. You know, the Knight of Cups looks really beautifully groomed as well, really attractive. Like a bit like a knight in shining armor, actually. That's how I think of this card, as the knight in shining armor. This person thinks you're attractive in a lot of different ways, not just physically, but in your brain, in your thoughts, in your heart, all sorts of ways. They think you're very, very attractive. I think they see you as kind of an ideal, idealizing you, something like that. They don't want to drag you into this mess. They don't want to drag you through this kind of thing that they're in. And I'm seeing them waiting, a bit like someone waiting at the traffic lights until it's time to go, until they get the green light. And then when they get that green light, they're coming forward to you. But they have a lot of mess to work through. They have a lot of things to go through before they actually get that green light. This knight, you know, he's on one side of the river, excuse me, and he's waiting to cross to the other side of the river. So that's what I'm seeing. More waiting and things they have to get through before they can actually cross over to you. So the next card you have for your future is the Eight of Pentacles. So they will get through this. They will eventually find a way out of this. They are going to start to work their way out. It's going to be work for them because people around them are going to make it very hard work for them to get out of this, specifically one person. They're just not going to make it easy for them. Now, when they do eventually work their way back to you, which I'm seeing they will eventually do, they're probably going to have a lot of problems. They're probably going to have a lot of upset. They're going to be very shell-shocked in a way. It's going to be very difficult for them. You're probably going to have to take things very slowly with them. They've been through a lot by this time. They will have gone through a lot. So try to be really sensitive toward them. Don't push them into anything. Just be gentle with them. They'll probably have, they'll probably have to lose out on something as well, I'm seeing, if that makes sense. Because I'm seeing a sacrificing something to be able to get out of a situation. So they're going to be feeling relieved on the one hand, hurt on the other hand after this, and they're going to be very very tired, very sensitive, very sad. They probably missed out on something, whether this is an inheritance or something financial. They probably might have even had to, or they might even have to cut out members of their family. They're probably going to be feeling very sad about that. So be very gentle with them. They might even be angry sometimes. They might even get angry. Just be very careful around them. They're not going to be angry with you. They might walk off and get angry somewhere else. Just be aware all of these things might happen around them, because they've been through a really, really, really horrible thing. And they're just going to need someone who's going to take care of them. That's what I'm seeing. The last card you have for your future is the Star. This is a beautiful card. So again, they have hope. They have hope that they can come towards you, and they are going to be able to do that, I'm seeing. And I think, you do as well, I'm seeing. There's a lot of work around you coming back together, a lot of work that has to be done, especially for them. They're very resilient though, and they're going to be able to do this. They're going to gradually get themselves out of this, and they are going to gradually come to you. There's an ibis on this card behind this beautiful woman's elbow. And, ibises are very, very resilient birds. They can survive just about anything. They can live anywhere. And this person is resilient, even though they're going to be hurt, battle-scarred, all of that kind of thing. They're very resilient. They'll get through this. And, this person has hope that they can work their way back to you, and they will do that, definitely. But you can't see that that's what they're doing. They're kind of doing all of this behind the scenes, because this beautiful woman's just bathing. She's just kind of doing whatever she's doing, and this star is behind her. But also, I think even though you might not know that this is all going on behind the scenes, I think you have some sense that this person is going to come back to you. Because if you look at this woman, she's just very relaxed. She's just going about her business. She's just bathing herself, whatever. She looks very calm. She's peaceful in this garden. And, you know, the stars there behind her. It's far away from her right now, but it's coming closer. It's coming closer. And I think you have some sense that you are going to be around this person again. You do sense that. And, you know, every time I've sensed that about someone, it's been correct. And that's how you are. So, yeah, she knows things are going to happen again. She knows what she's waiting for is going to come to her. And that's what you know as well. And it will happen. That's what I'm seeing.